Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm here again with another board game review, and today I'll be telling you that why you should play Destinies. Destinies is an adventure game in which you will be doing different kind of skill tests, adventuring around in the world. So it's like a pre-made uh, world like Dungeons and Dragons, which has adventuring elements in an unknown land with skill tests, with points of interaction. But the story is already pre-made, and an app is going to be running the game. If you don't like app-based board games, I do recommend that you try this one out because the game is actually that much fun that you are going to have an enjoyable time, even though partially the game is being run by an app. This is not a co-op game, but it is competitive game in which each of the player is trying to complete their own part of the destiny before the other player, but whatever they do might be helping you as well, at least from an information perspective, because at the start of the game you are not even aware of how you're going to fulfill your destiny. You have an idea that what you have been doing in the past and what you need to do, but how you need to do it you might not be clear. So how the other players interact with this world might help you on your quest as well. So it's very important to pay attention to everyone's turn in this adventure game, which is a unique twist on other story based game where people tune out because someone else's story is running right now. So let me get closer to telling you that how the game works, and then it will make more sense. The game is going to be run in the app. So first thing you're going to do is select one of the scenarios in the app. I'm not going to be showing you the app itself because again I don't want to ruin any of the existing stories, because I think the game comes with around 5 stories, at least the base game box. So that's a slight ding to it, that it's very limited number of stories, even though there is a content creator available so people can make their own stories, but the original stories are what's selling the game, and those are limited that comes in the box. So I don't want to ruin any of it, so I'll be making just showing you a random thing that I have set up here so that I don't spoil it. That's why I'm not showing you the app, because it will not reflect either the map or the interactions or the characters that I'm showing here. Now anyway, coming back to the gameplay, you'll be selecting a scenario and the game will give you options of 3 characters to choose from, and that's the character limit or player limit in this game as well, that this game can only be played up to 3 players. So you will be selecting, if you are playing with 3 players, full player count, then you will be selecting all 3 players. Once you have selected all the 3 players, then everyone is going to be told that what things they are going to take as their inventory, which will be 1 miniature of their character, and these are really tiny miniatures. The game comes with a lot of them and they are really hard to distinguish. I really wish they had gone with some less miniatures and only the main characters that were in the story, they were made as miniatures, because even NPCs, they have created miniatures for those NPCs as well, that is non-playable characters as well, and they really could have used tokens for point of interaction, which the game does have as these tokens as point of interaction for areas that you want to explore, and same they could have done for characters as well, and just made the miniatures for the main playable characters at least bigger. But anyway, so the game went with a lot of miniatures which are really tiny and it's hard to color them. So if you have not painted them, then it will be hard to distinguish which one is actually the figure that I'm supposed to pick up. But anyway, with that caveat aside, you will be picking one of the miniature, their related character card, you will be picking that, and then the game is going to also tell you to take some dice, some gold coins to start with, and the stats with which the character is going to start. Each character is going to have different starting stats, which are going to be related to intelligence, their agility and endurance, and these will be the different skills from combat to agility to magic, different kind of things that they will be using these stats. They will be using those skills. Now The game is going to start and tell you how to set up the map as well. The game comes with a plethora of double-sided tiles. One side is black and white showing the fog of war. You are not sure what the area holds. You have some idea. And the other side is a colored picture which is showing you exactly what the area is and how it is going to look like once it's flipped over, that is once it has been explored. But the each one of them comes with a number, so the app is going to exactly tell you which number tile to pick up and then place, and that's where you are going to start. It's also going to tell if there are some point of interaction things. So for example, there is an abandoned hut over here, and maybe the game will say, well, there is an NPC of a woodcutter standing here, and he's feeling lost or something. So it will give some kind of narrative description about the characters you can interact with. And that's what the setup entails. Then the game, everyone is going to take rounds. The app is going to drive that to tell exactly whose turn it is, which character's turn it is. And then you're going to take your turn. And on your turn, you can do two things. One is you can move up to 2 spaces or 1 space if you're going to an unexplored area, or you can stay even where you are. The second thing you are going to do is interact with only one thing on the map. And of course, all these point of interactions will be on the app as well. So you can click one of the interaction areas and it will give you the options. It will give you the narrative description of what happens when you interact with it. So for example, if I select the woodcutter that I went and discussed with the woodcutter, it will give a narrative description, something like, maybe the woodcutter felt lost. He has lost his axe and he felt very lonely and was crying. So you asked him what happened, and he said, well, there are some weird noises coming from the wood, and he was chopping wood and he got scared and ran away, and he has now nothing. So he has no ways of earning money left now, and that's why he's scared. And then the game is going to give you multiple options that now what do you want to do. So unlike a Dungeon and Dragon adventure, this might be giving you the option, selective pre-selected options, and you can select one of them out of those. So those options might be, well, maybe give him an alternate weapon so that he can go and fight his own fights, or maybe give him some words of encouragement, and that word of encouragement might ask you to actually do a wisdom check. If for a wisdom check you will roll the dice, as long as you get enough roll of the dice, you might be successful, otherwise you might fail. The other thing, if you're going to give someone any item, for example, give someone a weapon or even a holy item to make them calm down, then you have to actually give one of your physical items which are represented by these cards. And the game comes with a huge pile of deck of item cards which are going to be available, and all of them come with a QR code. So if the game gives you an option that, okay, give him an item, then what you're going to do is scan this QR code in the app, and then the game knows that which item you are willing to give. The game will not suggest which item you want to give. Maybe you want to give a weapon, maybe you want to give him a fire item, or maybe you want to give him a holy item, or maybe you want to give him an armor so that he feels protected. Whatever, your choice. You see the situation and then you decide which item is going to be useful. Maybe some item is not useful and it wastes your turn, but some item might be useful, but you just lost that item yourself, and you give that item to him. And in this way, either you will be discussing, you might be, well, you don't have food, here, take my coin, you pay him to actually buy him some food. That might be an option as well. So there might be different ways, or you might be offering services that, okay, I will go explore myself and try to kill whatever is out there and try to bring back your axe. So that might be one of the things you want to do. But maybe once you go out and you do find the axe, you can just keep it. So that will be all up to you. So those are the kind of interaction things that you're going to do. If you did decide that you want to give him words of encouragement, maybe the game is going to ask you to perform one of the skill checks, and how the skill checks is performed. So these purple dice are your bonus additional boost. at the start of the round, one of these boost dice will be refreshed, that you are feeling refreshed the next of the day, you have rested. So now this is your total pool of dice that's available to you. If you don't use this dice this day, the next day another dice is going to get added. The next day another dice is going to get added. So for more difficult tests, if you have to do, you can roll multiple dice as well. But let's say this was our situation and we think I want to give words of encouragement, but I don't want to risk my losing my purple dice, so I'm going to just use my base dice to actually do the words of encouragement. And remember, these are special dice which go from 1 to 4 and not all sides are equal. So you will be rolling these and based on the results. So for example, I rolled a 4 and a 1 which is equal to 5. I'll be looking here that up till 5, how many of these discs are there. So for me, only up to the number 5, there is only one disc that has come into that level. So that means my success, I had only one success, and in the app I'm going to select one success, and based on that, either it will give me fail, your words of encouragement weren't powerful enough, or it is going to tell me it was a medium level, so he has calmed down a bit but he still doesn't have enough courage to go in the woods. Or if I was really successful, then it is going to succeed and the guy just gets up, feels encouraged, gives me something as well, and then goes in the wood all by himself. So how do I make my future? So right now one was really pathetic. So how could I make those more powerful? One of the ways was, well, I use my boost die, which is the purple dice, and I roll it. So for example, I rolled a star on it, which means whatever is the success here, which is 1, I add one more success to it. So based on this purple dice, I have now 2 successes. If it was even a number, let's say 2, then 5 plus 2, 7. I would have still got 2 successes. So a boost would have been good in such a situation. Sometimes some of these items are going to have some kind of ability at the bottom. All items have some kind of ability at the bottom. So other than using them for particular situations using the QR code, there are abilities at the bottom. I can sometimes discard a card, or very rare cards have some passive abilities as well, which can contribute to my skill checks as well. Then the third way is that sometimes you will completely fail, but at least you will gain experience by that failure. So those come as this kind of crown experience token, and you will gain that by failing. So if you have failed, what you can do next time is, using this experience point, you can discard this experience point to improve your stats here. So for example, this one experience point actually lets me gain 2 experience, which I show by lowering down these discs on this track. So for example, I want to reduce my intelligence here by 1 here, and this one by 1 here as well. So now my stats are at 4 and 6. So next time when I roll and I do get, let's say, a 6, I rolled a 4 and 2, let's say. So even previously on 7 I was getting 2, but now I just need 6 to get 2 success. And last time on a 5 I was getting 1 success. By lowering down the lowest one, now even if I roll a single 4, let's say 2 and 2, then still I'm going to succeed in at least get 1 success in that test. So this is a really unique mechanism in which you have to lower the disc, and in that way your skill actually enhances. So lowering the disc increases your skill test success rates, and that's a unique twist on the skill test mechanism which is represented in this game, and all the skill checks are going to be just that. So those are the unique ways. Sometimes the app itself is going to tell you that based on the test you were doing. So for example, you were picking up a rock, but if the test failed, then the rock fell from your hand and it stubbed your toe. So maybe you lose your endurance, so increase your endurance. But if you were successful, now your muscles feel more strong, so reduce one of your or gain one of your combat or endurance skills. So in this way, sometimes the app is going to tell you to actually move them left or right as well based on the results of the different kind of test. So sometimes you want to avoid it. You always look at your stats, and the test on the app are going to tell you exactly what kind of test is going to be asked for, what kind of stats. So maybe if your stats are not good in one area, you might want to discard one of your items to actually succeed in that test. So in this way, that's the main skill test how you're going to perform. The other thing is exploration. Once you go to any area which is still unexplored, the first thing that happens is you will be clicking that area in the app. So it will tell you to flip that area over, and then you will be able to see how the area looks like. But not only that, the game is also going to tell you that now more unexplored areas are going to be available for you to explore, and it will tell you that okay, add those tiles next to it. So next time anyone else or you yourself can actually go here or here, and then those might get explored as well, and accordingly more areas it will say okay, put additional tiles on next to it as well, and those are the areas that are now available to you as well. And that's how slowly the map is going to expand and explorable area is going to become available more and more. So that's how the exploration works, and whenever you explore a new area, more points of interaction, more every place is going to have some more characters are going to pop up on the area that are going to be available for interaction, and they are going to be available so that you can try to fulfill your destiny. Which brings us to the last but the most important part in the gameplay. On the backside, what are you actually trying to achieve in the game? On the backside of each of these cards are two destinies written, one in yellow, one in purple. So basically these are the overarching objectives that you are trying to complete, and you can complete any one of these to actually fulfill your destiny. So for example, if you were a criminal before and you're trying to vindicate yourself, then the objectives might be relating to it, or maybe the other objective might be, well, just give up, you're hopeless and you want to become the biggest criminal now there is. So both parts are available to you, and the criteria here will give you a hint of what you need to do to achieve it. But of course you have to explore the land to find the real things that you need to actually accomplish that objective. There will be some characters which can give you guidance about your destiny as well. So for example, if you were a thief and you're trying to well, increase your ranks among the thieves, well, you want to find out who the bigger criminal bosses are in the area. Maybe you can ask them about the destiny and they will point you in the right direction. And that's what the destiny is going to be. So even though you're doing random things to earn more items, earn more coin, slightly improve your stats over time, but in the end, that's the main objective that you're trying to achieve, because once you are able to fulfill all your destiny requirements, there will be one location that will be shown on the card where you are going to go and perform your final test, and everyone will know the final test has started. So they have limited time to try and complete their own objective as well. Once that timer starts, then they have to quickly try to complete the one, and whoever completes their destiny and final test before time expires, then they are going, well, not time, at least the number of turns the first player has, or whoever has started their destiny final destiny test, they have completed theirs. Whoever has done that, that is going to be the player who wins the game. And the game actually story, the ending part changes accordingly as well, and the campaign scenarios slightly differ based on how you left the world. That is going to impact the next scenario as well. That slight changes, not major changes, but slight changes to the world, how you left the world, who was successful in the previous mission. The game is going to introduce some of the bigger bad guys as well, who have bigger miniatures, slightly bigger miniatures, but mostly they will get involved in particular scenarios, and you're going to be going against them as well in each of those scenarios in an effort to complete your objectives. And that's what Destiny is. Now, overall, in my opinion, this is a fascinating game for people who love narrative in games. If you're looking for a deep strategic game, then Destinies is not going to be it. It doesn't even try to look strategic or Euro-y. You're not managing your resources. What you're trying to manage is how much money you have, what are the opportunities available on the board, what items do you buy. Sometimes some characters will just open a shop. The woodkeeper, once he's done with it, whatever turmoil he has, maybe he opens a shop and offers making weapons for other people. So things like that might happen, and you might have to you will be able to buy, as long as you have the coin, by doing good deeds to others. You might have coins which you can use to buy other weapons to enhance your test, and those weapons or items are going to become helpful for your other objectives with other characters. So you will be roaming around back and forth in this world and trying to figure out how do you accomplish your destiny. Whatever others are doing, they will slightly relate to your destiny, because each character has two destinies, but among the three players, one of the destiny will be common with the other player as well, and one of the other destiny will be common with the other player. So these destinies are intertwined as well, and you are trying a race against them, that okay, if I'm trying to accomplish all of these, well, he's trying that as well. If he accomplishes to satisfy, for example, the thief's demand before me, then he is going to be set up one step ahead of me, and you don't want to do that. So that's why there is a kind of a race element in it as well, where you're both, or all the players are trying to compete with each other, as long as they are trying to accomplish at least one of the objectives that the other player might be focusing on. But there is always the second objective as well. If you see one of the destiny is becoming more and more difficult because the other one is getting more successes, maybe just switch to your other destiny objective and try to accomplish that. But you have to keep your eyes and ears open for everyone's turn, because they are going to reveal information about your destiny, so that you, because you will never have enough time to explore and interact with everything. So pick and choose your battles, and that's what destiny is all about: adventuring and picking the best options that you think is going to become take you closer to your action. Now, the thing that I love most about Destiny is, well, other than being a sucker for narrative based games, which I absolutely love, is this dice mechanism with the board. I suck at dice rolling, but still, this board mechanism of how you can improve your stats, which let it go down, and then that marks the number of milestones or markers that you can hit more easily to get more skills. That's really a unique mechanism, and it works like a charm. You really get a feeling of enjoyment and success if you have lowered down something and then you were able to succeed by lowering it. You try to push your luck by not using the purple dice, because now you believe that you have lowered down this enough, and you are sure that okay, I will get two successes, and two successes are going to be good enough for this test, and you do it and you do get two successes. So that's an awesome kind of feeling, and that's why I really enjoyed my time with Destinies. Now, I had few issues with it. Well, first of all, I don't think these many miniatures were necessary. As I said before, I would have preferred few miniatures but bigger ones. Secondly, I don't think there were enough campaigns in the base game box, and they won't be releasing new campaigns for it because they already released multiple expansion boxes with new stories, new components, new miniatures, new tiles in it. But at least the content created is there, so if anybody is interested, they can go and use that content creator to actually make their own stories using the components that come with the game. So that's Destinies. At least that might give you an idea of what type of game it is, and if you're interested, then go for it. It comes as a recommended game from my side. That's it for me. Happy gaming.